Well, tonight investigators are working to figure out what caused that explosion in Owings Mills.
Officials dismissed classes this morning after the blast at the school. WJZ has live team coverage of the explosion. Rachel Carden spoke to students.
But we're going to start tonight with WJZ investigator Mike Helgren with the very latest on what we're learning. Mike?
Denise and Vic, while school authorities are investigating what's behind this blast, we want to note that there were no major injuries here, just some frightening moments on campus this morning. An explosion on the campus of the private McDonogh School in Owings Mills sent bricks flying on the campus just after 8:30 this morning. It blew off the top of what's called the shot tower, a smokestack attached to the boiler room. One student was hit by the debris. 2 adults were also injured. None of those injuries are life-threatening. The shot tower is not attached to any classroom buildings, but Fire Department spokeswoman Elise Armacost says students and staff in the nearby Ed St. John Center felt the explosion.
They obviously heard this very loud sound, and they immediately went on lockdown for a brief period of time until they determined that that wasn't really an issue, and they self-evacuated.
The school dismissed early at 11 o'clock this morning. There is no current danger on campus.
The first thing that our units did was set up a collapse zone, make sure that no one else was trapped in any adjacent structure. We have determined that no one is trapped, and other than those injuries that I mentioned, there are no additional injuries. There was no fire here.
Right now, an investigation is underway into why the shot tower blew up.
As far as the cause, which I know you're all going to be asking about, we are going to let the school deal with that.
Now, the 2 contractors who were injured were working on the boiler at the time of the explosion. Live in Owings Mills, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
Well, classes at McDonogh were dismissed earlier.
Rachel Carden continues our team coverage tonight. She spoke to students as they left campus. Rachel.
That's right, and many of them said they're just grateful everybody is okay. We actually spoke to one of the students who was hit by falling debris following this explosion. Many students heard the blast while in their classroom. Jake Elise is lucky to be walking away from this scene with just a scratch.
And me and my friend were walking, and all of a sudden we heard a really big bang. And we looked up and we saw the bricks coming down, and we just started running on the opposite way of the bricks. I'm lucky I got out.
After students say the top third of the smokestack on campus was blown off, 2 contractors and Jake were hurt.
Well, I got a little cut on my leg, but other than that, I'm okay. Thoughts out to the ones who got hurt more than I did. Thankful. It was just a scary experience. I'm glad I'm all right.
The school reported no major injuries and said there was no fire on campus. As they shut down the school and students filed out, Rock D'Amico told us even from the basement he heard a boom.
The bricks just kind of fell and there's a big smoke cloud and it just kind of blew away with the wind and everything. I don't know, there was a couple kids that had to run away from the bricks when it fell. It's pretty crazy.
Parents were notified about the explosion shortly after it happened. All activities for the remainder of the day have been canceled. Stay with us for WJZ at 7, where you'll hear from another student, a senior here at the McDonogh School, who explains to us why a minute later things could have been much worse. Stay with us for that story. For now, we're live in front of the McDonogh School out here in Owings Mills. I'm Rachel Carden for WJZ.